Hey everyone. My name is Rachel. I'm 34 years old. And 18 months ago, I was the proud owner of a digital marketing agency called Spark Digital, a company I built from literally nothing. No investors. No loans from family. No help from anyone. I started Spark Digital at my kitchen table when I was 27 years old, with a second-hand laptop, $800 in my savings account, and 0 clients. I worked 16-hour days. I skipped vacations. I missed birthdays. I missed weddings. I missed funerals. While my friends were going out on Friday nights, I was cold emailing strangers at 2 a.m. hoping anyone, would give me a chance. And slowly, painfully, it worked. By year 3, I had 12 employees. By year 5, I had 40 clients across 4 countries. By year 6, the year everything fell apart, Spark Digital was valued at $2.3 million. I tell you all of this not to brag. I tell you this so you understand exactly what was taken from me. And who took it. My brother Daniel is 3 years older than me. Growing up, he was the golden child. Handsome. Charming. The life of every party. My parents adored him. Teachers loved him. Girls chased him. And Daniel? Daniel loved the idea of success. He just hated the work that came with it. He tried selling cars, quit after 2 months. He tried real estate, lasted 4 months. He started a food truck, closed it in 6 weeks. Every single time, there was an excuse. The economy. Bad timing. Unfair competition. Never Daniel's fault. Never. When Spark Digital started growing, Daniel suddenly became very interested in my business. At first I thought it was genuine support. He started calling me more. Coming to family dinners and asking smart questions about marketing and clients. I was actually touched. My big brother was finally proud of me. Pause, voice gets quieter. I was so stupid. About 2 years ago, Daniel came to me with a proposal. He said he wanted to officially join Spark Digital. He said he had connections, old clients, golf buddies, wealthy contacts that could triple our revenue. He didn't ask for a salary. He asked for 15% ownership of the company. I said no at first. The company was mine. I had built every single brick of it. But Daniel kept pushing. And then my parents got involved. Rachel, he's your brother. Rachel, family supports family. Rachel, don't be selfish. I was called selfish for not giving away 15% of a company I built from nothing. But I loved my family. And I trusted Daniel. So I said yes. Biggest mistake of my life. The first few months, Daniel actually tried. He brought in 2 clients. Small ones, but still. I gave him access to our internal systems. Client databases. Financial records. He needed them, he said, to do his job properly. I trusted him. He was my brother. But slowly, things started feeling off. He started showing up late to meetings. Then missing them entirely. He started having private phone calls that he'd walk out of the room for. He hired his friend Marcus as a consultant, without asking me, and put the invoice through our company account. When I confronted him, he laughed it off. Relax, Rachel. Marcus is going to bring us huge clients. Consider it an investment. Marcus never brought a single client. Then one evening, my CFO, a brilliant woman named Linda, knocked on my office door and closed it behind her. Her face was pale. She sat down and said 7 words that I will never forget for the rest of my life. Rachel. I think we have a serious problem. Linda had been doing routine quarterly reconciliation when she noticed something strange. A document had been filed 6 weeks earlier with the State Business Registry. An amendment to Spark Digital's ownership structure. According to this document, Daniel now owned 51% of Spark Digital. I owned 34%. Linda owned nothing, even though I had promised her 10% as part of her compensation package. That had been removed from the filing. And a man named Marcus Webb, Daniel's friend, owned the remaining 15%. The document had been signed by me. Except I had never signed anything. My hands started shaking. Linda slid the paper across the desk. I looked at the signature line. It looked like my signature. Same loops. Same slight leftward slant. But I had never signed that document. Never. I sat in my chair for a very long time after Linda left. I didn't cry. I didn't call Daniel. I called my lawyer. My attorney, a sharp woman named Patricia, got back to me within 48 hours. What she found was worse than I imagined. Daniel hadn't just forged one document. He had forged 4. The ownership amendment. A loan document in the company's name, $340,000 borrowed against Spark Digital's assets. A contract transferring 2 of our biggest clients to a new company, called Spark Digital Pro, which was registered in Daniel's name. And a non-compete agreement supposedly signed by me, which would have prevented me from starting a new marketing company for 5 years. All signed with my forged signature. All filed over the past 3 months. Patricia looked at me across her desk and said very calmly, "Rachel, this isn't a civil matter. This is federal fraud. Wire fraud, forgery, and potentially identity theft. You need to contact the FBI." I drove home that night and sat in my driveway for 45 minutes. I thought about Daniel as a kid. Stealing French fries off my plate. Teaching me to ride a bike. Dancing terribly at our cousin's wedding. And then I thought about 7 years of my life. 7 years of 4 a.m. work sessions and skipped vacations and sacrifice and pain. He had tried to steal all of it. I walked inside. Opened my laptop. And I found the FBI's online tip line. I want to be clear about something. Filing that report was the hardest thing I have ever done. Harder than starting the company. Harder than those early years of rejection. Because I knew what it meant. It meant my brother might go to prison. It meant my parents would hate me. It meant the family I grew up in would never be the same. But I also knew something else. If I let Daniel walk away from this, if I quietly fixed the documents and pretended nothing happened, I would be telling him that I could be stolen from. That I was safe to take from. And he would do it again. To me, or to someone else. So I filed the report. 2 FBI agents came to Patricia's office 4 days later. A man named Agent Cole and a woman named Agent Torres. They were calm, professional, and thorough. I handed them everything. The forged documents, bank statements showing the $340,000 loan withdrawals, emails between Daniel and Marcus, and security footage from our office showing Daniel using my computer late at night, which is when the documents were likely prepared. Agent Torres looked at the file and then looked at me. "Ms. Rachel, I want you to do something difficult now." "What?" I asked. "Nothing. Don't call your brother. Don't warn your parents. Don't change anything at the company. Act completely normal. Can you do that?" I nodded. "Good," she said. "Because we're going to need about 3 weeks. Those 3 weeks were the longest of my life." I went to work every day and looked at Daniel across the office and smiled. He smiled back. He had no idea. My parents called me that month for our weekly Sunday dinner. I went. I sat across from Daniel. I passed him the bread basket. My mother talked about a vacation she was planning. My father talked about a neighbor's new car. And Daniel talked about Spark Digital's future, casually, like it was already his. "I'm thinking we expand into video production," he said, cutting his steak. Could be a huge revenue stream. I smiled. That's an interesting idea, I said. Inside, I was completely hollow. Linda was the only person who knew. She held it together better than I did, honestly. She deserved so much more than what Daniel had tried to take from her too. On day 19, Agent Torres called me. "We're ready," she said. "It's going to happen tomorrow morning." I didn't sleep that night. At 7:43 a.m. on a Tuesday, Daniel was arrested at his apartment. Marcus Webb was arrested at his home at the same time. I was not there. Patricia had strongly advised me to stay away. But my mother called me at 7:51 a.m. 8 minutes after the arrest. She was screaming so hard I could barely understand her. "What did you do, Rachel? What did you do?" I sat on my kitchen floor and let her scream. When she finally stopped, I said very quietly, "Mom. He forged my signature. He stole $340,000 from my company. He tried to take everything I built. I have the documents. I have the proof. I have security footage." Silence. "He's your brother," she finally whispered. "And it was my life," I said. And I hung up. Daniel was charged with wire fraud, forgery, and identity theft. Marcus was charged as a co-conspirator. The $340,000 loan, which Daniel had mostly transferred to personal accounts, became subject to a court freezing order. And Spark Digital? The fraudulent ownership documents were invalidated. The company was officially, legally, 100% mine again. My parents didn't speak to me for 4 months. My aunt sent me a long message calling me a traitor and a disgrace. 2 cousins unfollowed me on social media. I want to be honest with you, it hurt. Of course it hurt. These are people I grew up with. People I loved. But here's what else happened. Linda, my CFO, cried when the company was fully restored in my name. She hugged me for a long time. My 12 employees, who had been quietly terrified watching the legal situation unfold, threw a small celebration in the office. Someone brought cake. And I sat in my office that evening, alone, and looked around at everything I had built. The awards on the wall. The photos of my team. The window that overlooked the city. Daniel had tried to take all of it from me with a pen and a forged signature. And I had taken it back. 3 months after the arrest, my mother finally called me. Not screaming this time. Quiet. "I looked at the documents," she said. "Patricia sent them to me." Pause. "I'm sorry, Rachel." That was all she said. But it was enough. Daniel's case is still moving through the legal process. I'm not going to speculate on what his sentence will be. That's for the courts to decide. What I will tell you is this. I spent 7 years building something. Sacrificing. Grinding. Believing that hard work was enough. And I learned that hard work is enough, but you also have to protect what you build. Even from the people you love most. Especially from them. If you are watching this and someone in your life, family, friend, partner, is taking from you, undermining you, stealing from you, please. Document everything. Get a lawyer. And don't let love be used as a weapon against you. Your work matters. Your sacrifice matters. You matter. I'm Rachel. And this was my story. If this story moved you, please subscribe. New stories every week. And leave a comment below, I read every single one.